Here we go with another Kong Show, and once again we're with film critic Don Morton. How you doing, Don?
I'm critical.
You are indeed, and you're constantly critical. We're at Morton's Movie Mansion in Roppongi, and this week, what films will you be reviewing?
We have 4 this week.
4.
They're called The Cobbler, Elephant Song, The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, and Tomorrowland.
Worst first, as usual?
The worst movie this week, this year, is The Cobbler. And the big mystery here is why respected director Thomas McCarthy, who's made movies like The Station Agent, The Visitor, and Win-Win, would sink to making Adam Sandler movies.
Adam Sandler, so this is a comedy?
Well, no, not really, not at all. It's just ridiculous, and it gets worse. Sandler plays a middle-aged Jewish cobbler who discovers in the shop he inherited from his dad a magic leather-stitching machine. It allows him to transfer into the exact image of the owners of the shoes that's mended by the device.
So, is it that funny?
No, it's not funny. His experiments with this get progressively more maudlin, they get creepy, and they get insulting as he callously caricatures every possible racial and ethnic stereotype right down to the asinine twist ending. It's cringe-inducing movie. Awful.
In other words, are you saying this is not a good movie?
I like the way you read between the lines, Colin.
Next film is called what?
Elephant Song is a tight little multi-layered indie psycho thriller from Canada adapted from a play.
And what's it about?
A psychiatrist disappears from the institution where he works, and a colleague, Dr. Green, is called in to investigate what happened to him. And the best way to do this seems to be by interviewing a patient of his that claims to know where the man has gone. This is played by Xavier Dolan very, very nicely.
So it kind of sounds like a setup for some manipulative mind games.
You couldn't have said that better. And it soon becomes clear that the patient is far smarter than the doctor. At the end, he'll say, I should have known what he was doing about the surprise ending. This is good for lovers of good indie cinema.
What about The Elephant Song? How does it go?
You're not going to get me to sing again.
Oh, come on.
No. Even if I knew how the elephant song went.
Was there actually an elephant song?
No.
No. Why the title, Elephant Song?
The patient's favorite comfort toy was a stuffed elephant.
That's not a spoiler?
No.
Okay. Moving on, next film is called what?
The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1. This is the third out of a 3-book series. It's the first half of the third book. I found the first film in 1912 to be pretty well made and acted and fairly entertaining in a young adult manner for someone who hadn't read the books and doesn't intend to. The second in 2013 was better, and it actually made me look forward to this, the third movie.
So was it as good as you had hoped it would be?
No, I'm sorry, it wasn't, because there's a new problem. It's darker and it's deeper and it's more political than the 2 previous films. But the accounting office said, as the accounting office often does, split the final book into 2 movies and we can make more money. And this ill-advised cash grab just obliterates any momentum that it might have had. There's no time for me to go into the plot here, but you will either know about it from the book, so you will go see the movie.
So was it any good at all? Would you recommend this film?
Actually, with a great cast, it's still solid if unsatisfying entertainment, but it's mostly set up.
Any advice to viewers, people who are going to be watching this movie?
Here's a great idea. Skip this one in the theaters for now. This is why distributors love me so much. And rent the DV next year just before Part 2 is released. And then you get the whole book. And I tell you, that Part 2 better be good.
All right. Let's move on to the next film now playing here in Japan. It's called
Tomorrowland. You know, the future just isn't what it used to be. And this is a whimsical medley of moments and ideas. It's by Brad Bird, who made The Iron Giant and The Incredibles and Ratatouille. So you know it's going to have some fun into it. This $200 million effort addresses mankind's constantly changing views on what the future may hold, or could hold, or should hold.
How would you classify this Disney movie?
Well, it's, I think, a grounded fantasy might be a good way to call it. Narratively, this one's all over the place and all over the time. You'll understand what that means later. George Clooney is a disillusioned, middle-aged, former whiz-kid inventor who has seen the future and is not happy with it. Opposite him is young lady Britt Robertson, as a smart young optimist. Raffi Cassidy stands out as a cute Tomorrowland girl who thinks these two are the key to fixing our troubled future and invites invites them to visit the title, place, and or time.
Raffi Cassidy is the name of the young lady, the cute Tomorrowland girl.
Yeah,
she was really good in this film.
Hypnotic.
And isn't Hugh Laurie in this film as well?
Yeah, he's the governor of the place and the villain, kind of. He gets off the film's most coherent message with his third act monologue about how apathetic people are about the approaching ecological apocalypse. It makes a lot of sense, and it's said in anger, and it should be. But it's a nice message to give to the young people that will be seeing this film. Overall, it's a mess, but it's a fun mess. It's a globe-trotting, time-traveling, retro-futurist mess that's entertaining, inventive, and full of wonder.
Based on a true story?
All Disney movies are. Didn't you know that?
Now, besides the scattershot approach, as you mentioned, what else did you not like about this film?
Well, the ending. Nobody likes the ending. I think the writers didn't quite know how to wind it up, and the ending is a bit underwhelming. But getting there is a lot of fun.
And did you get one of these pins, one of these badges?
I did not.
Yet.
They only go to people who can save the world, you know.
All right. What films will you be covering in our next edition?
3 films opening next week. They are called Kidnapping Mr. Heineken, Cymbeline, and Hector and the Search for Happiness.
All right. We'll be back with reviews on those films next week. Same time, same place, right here. Don Morton, film critic for Metropolis Magazine.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
There you go. Thank you very much.